Welcome to the lesson number 8 of Pegasus CAD/CAM. Today I'm gonna show you how to create, define and use stoppers and vacuum in this program. Let's start with stoppers. First of all, you have to design the section of your stopper looking from the top. And in my case I designed two types. One which has a two element which give us the 90 degrees, and basically we want to see how we can use this one. Or we have a different one. So now we see how we can define these stoppers. So under the menu machining, you're gonna have here a menu which has the vacuum and stopper, and we're gonna see that we're gonna have menu for to define a stopper or a vacuum, and then to insert a stopper or vacuum. Let's start from definition, and we're gonna define the stopper. As soon as we select this command, we're gonna have a new menu. In this menu, basically we can do two things. We can create over here a list. We can insert as many stopper we want. Let's say, for example, we have a 2, 3 or 4 different types of machines which has different type stoppers, so we can for each machine to define the stoppers. In my case I have defined one already, and I say call machine 1. So for example, now let's start from 0. We're gonna create a new one, and we're gonna call machine 2. We select machine 2, and now from this machine we're gonna say that we want a new element. The program is asking me what's the name of this element. Let's say stop 1. Pressing stop 1, the program is asking me select the geometry that you want to include as stoppers, and I select all these geometry. Finish. He says to me where is the reference point for, and in my case this one is going to be this one, because this stopper is giving me respect X position and Y position, this point. So this is going to be my reference point. And then it's asking me as additional if I have a circle as a reference, which I have a previous design, and it's going to be this one. As we can see, if we go inside machine 2, we're going to have now our new stopper defined. Let's try with the second one. We're going to gain a new element. We're going to call stop 2. In this case, we're going to select this one. As you can see, our reference is going to be a little bit off from the center, but it is not important for us. So we're going to select all the geometry. We finish. Our reference point is the center of these circles, and then the circle of reference is this one. If we select again machine 2, we're going to see now that we have the two stopper already defined. Now we're going to see how we can use the stopper that we have previously defined. Going back to machining and going to the menu vacuum stopper, this time we're going to go to insert, and we're going to select the command insert stopper. When we do so, we're going to get to this menu. It's very important, if you don't have such definition defined, is to put the number 1 in here. If we don't put number 1, the system is not going to work. Then depth of work is something that usually we don't manage in this program, because every machine has a different programs, and we manage usually on the post processor. So usually we can leave this one as a 0. Then we have a menu here. Menu allow us to say how we can insert the stopper. Select the point, respect the X position, or respect Y position, or any position that we want. Let's start for the first example selection, the point position. So as we previously have defined, we have one stopper and the second stopper. As you can see here, we have the list of the machine that we have previously defined. So in stopper 1, as we said before, we have a stopper which allow us to be defined considering the two elements which give us the 0 position. If I press OK, it's going to appear in our screen. but because we have select the point, we simply put in the position where we want. In this case, it's going to be our 0, 0. As you can see, the element 1 and 2 is going to give the X and Y position and also the 0 position. Now, if we want to insert one more stopper here and one more stopper here, simply we select the stopper number 2. But in this case, for example, we can use the option align to the X position. So in this case, we're going to have a X position reference, as you can see when I move my mouse. So I select align to the X position. I press OK, and I select exactly in the position where I want to stay outside of our piece. It's very important to be outside, not to be like here, not to be close like this, but simply outside. When we find the position that we like, we press here, and then the program is asking to touch the geometry that's giving the reference. And as you can see, here touch our stopper on the position that we select. Same story if we want to do with the Y position. Y position, so we select Y, we select our stopper, we press OK. We find the position that we like, for example here, and then we select this geometry. In this case, gonna touch on this position. If we select the last one, we are free to do anything we want. Basically, we press OK, we find the position, let's say here, and then we touch the geometry. It's going to attach the stopper in this position. Now I'm going to teach you how to define and use a vacuum. As previously done, I have prepared my vacuum, and usually I like to prepare the design when the vacuum are going to be horizontal or vertical. So it's easier for us to use it when we're gonna put it and insert. We repeat the same operation like before, so we go to machining and on menu stopper and vacuum, but this time when we go in definition, we're gonna define our vacuum. Even in here, we can basically create a new table, and we call them, for example, machine AAA. As we can see, now we have our machine AAA well defined. I select this one, and now I have on the menu where I can say new element, rename element, or delete element. So new element. We give it a name, and quickly I do so we can see how it's working. So now we're gonna select which is gonna be this vacuum, for example this one. Finish, and our reference point is going to be exactly the center of our geometry, which is going to be like this. Now, as you can see, we have defined our first vacuum, and we can keep going A2 and define one by one our geometry. Machine name, new element, A3, OK, select the geometry, finish. Our point reference is the center of the vacuum. Now we're gonna see how we can use and insert our vacuum inside our piece. So we're gonna go vacuum stopper, say insert, and we're gonna this time select insert vacuum. Again, we have a menu which is very important, and I remind you to write down the number 1 in this position and to label 0 because this is managed from the post process. When we select our vacuum, as you can see, we have the preview under here, and we just simply select the one which we want to use. For example, this one. When we press OK, simply we can move in our piece and select the position that we want to use. For example, now we go and select this one, and we're gonna put like this. For example, again, one more time here, and then one more here. So this is a very simple way how to insert the vacuum, and not really complicated to understand. Once we have inserted the stoppers and the vacuum, we are ready to post-process and to get the program which allows the machine to show us where to install the vacuum and the stopper in this piece. Pegasus Cut Country, we have also the option that if we want to split the program from the piece to the program from the vacuum and stopper, it's enough to press this icon. If we switch off, we're gonna get only the program of our piece. If we switch on, we're gonna get also the program for the vacuum and the stopper.